Happy day students, welcome to San Academy Pallikarnai. This is class 7 history chapter 6 towns, traders and craftspersons. Topics to be covered: administrative centers, temple towns and pilgrimage centers, a network of small towns, traders both big and small, crafts in town, a closer look at Hampi, Masulipatnam and Surat, new towns and traders. Administrative centers. Now, let's travel in our imagination to Tanjore, the capital of the Cholas, 1,000 years ago. The perennial river Kaveri flows near this beautiful town. One can hear the bells of the Rajarajeshwara temple built by the king Rajaraja Chola. The town people are all praise for its architect Kunjaramallan Rajaraja Peruntachan, who has proudly carved his name on the temple wall. Inside is a massive Shiva Linga. Besides the temple, there are palaces with mandapas or pavilions. Kings hold court in these mandapas, issuing orders to their subordinates. The town is bustling with markets, selling grain, spices, cloth and jewellery. Water supply for the town comes from wells and tanks. The Salia weavers of Tanjore and the nearby town of Urayur are busy producing cloth for flags to be used in the temple festival, fine cottons for the king and nobility, and coarse cotton for the masses. Now let us see about temple town and pilgrimage centers. Tanjore is also an example of a temple town. Temple town represent a very important pattern of urbanization, the process by which cities develop. Temples were often central to the economy and society. Rulers built temples to demonstrate their devotion to various deities. They also endowed temples with grants of land and money to carry out elaborate rituals, feed pilgrims and priests, and celebrate festivals. Pilgrims who flocked to the temples also made donations. Development of towns. Pilgrimage centers slowly developed into towns. Vrindavan in Uttar Pradesh and Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu are examples of two such towns. Ajmer in Rajasthan was the capital of the Chauhan kings in the 12th century and later became the Suba headquarters under the Mughals. It provides an excellent example of religious coexistence. Waja Muinuddin Chishti, the celebrated Sufi saint who settled there in the 12th century, attracted devotees from all creeds. Near Ajmer is a lake, Pushkar, which also attracted various pilgrims. Now, let us see about network of small towns and traders. From the 8th century onwards, the subcontinent was dotted with several small towns. These probably emerged from large villages. They usually had a mantapika to which nearby villagers brought their produce to sell. They also had market streets called hata, lined with shops. Besides, there were streets for different kinds of artisans such as potters, oil pressers, sugar makers, toddy makers, smith and stonemasons. Many came from far and near to these towns to buy local articles and sell products of distant places like horses, salt, camphor, saffron, betel nut and spices like pepper. Usually, a samanta or in later times known as a zemindar, built a fortified palace in or near these towns. Actually, they levied heavy taxes on traders, artisans, and articles of trade, and sometimes donated the right to collect these taxes to local temples which had been built by themselves or by rich merchants. These rights were recorded in inscriptions that have survived to this day. Now let us see about the traders, both big and small. There were many kinds of traders. These included the Banjaras. Several traders, especially horse traders, formed associations with headmen who negotiated on their behalf with warriors who bought horses. Traders usually traveled in caravans and formed guilds to protect their interest. There were several such guilds in South India from the 8th century onwards, and the most famous were being the Manigrabam and Nana Desi. There were also communities like the Chettiars and the Marwari Oswal who went on to become the principal trading groups of the country. Gujarati traders, including the communities of Hindu Banians and Muslim Bohras, traded extensively with the ports of the Red Sea, Persian Gulf, East Africa, Southeast Asia, and China. Spices grown in tropical climates became an important part of European cooking, and cotton cloth was very attractive. This eventually drew the attention of European traders to India.